Welcome back to the Bigger Sister channel, where we're on a mission to empower sex workers through financial education and support. Today, we're exploring how education impacts our financial mindset. If you haven't already, take our quiz to find out what your financial attitude is, and then let's dive in to better understand how education has influenced your attitude to date. We'll also go through how to use education to better yourself today. So have a pen and paper ready as we'll go through a self-reflection exercise for this video, because I want you to leave with actionable insight into your own financial mindset. What's education got to do with how you think and feel about money? Education is a powerful tool that shapes our beliefs and attitudes, and when it comes to finances, it's no different. Research tells us that education during our formative years has a huge impact on our financial mindset, and that education is an effective method to challenge our existing ideas about money. What is the connection between formal education and financial attitude? Many of us received little to no formal education about money and finances in school, but the reality is, the younger that we start teaching kids about money, the more cognitively equipped they become as adults to tackle financial responsibilities, because the topic of finance then becomes familiar territory. Imagine if financial education was an integral part of our curriculum. Young adults would not only graduate with the tools and know how to manage their finance effectively, but they'd have confidence to exercise these tools and the communication skills to troubleshoot financial problems with others. They wouldn't just understand the importance of saving, investing, and setting financial goals from an early age, but they'd be taught to believe that they are capable of learning and improving their perspective around money. For many of us who didn't receive formal education around finance, we are educated by our primary caregiver, and we tend to inherit their financial attitude or reject it, typically with no critical analysis, awareness, or reflection as to why. Did you receive any formal education around finances during your schooling? Or were you, by default, educated by the behaviors and the interactions of those around you? We learn every day whether we want to or not. For sex workers, we learn that we do not have the same access to financial education as everyone else, because it's unsafe for some of us to disclose that we're sex workers. That's why, here at Bigger Sister Channel, we're here to break down those barriers and provide tailored financial education that levels the playing field for sex workers regardless of your background. We want you to feel confident and capable in educating yourself and to reach your financial potential. For this to be possible, we must learn how to educate ourselves, which is why I want to take you through a self-reflection exercise to better understand ourselves. Some people find it too difficult to directly confront and interrogate their financial feelings, thoughts, and behaviors. You might not yet know how to self-reflect from a place of comparison, and so I want to give you two options to improve your financial attitude through education. I want you to imagine yourself at a crossroads with two paths ahead. One path is learning about financial products, services, concepts, and this is what we call financial literacy. And the other path leads you to your thoughts or feelings around money, your past experiences, and your current behaviors. If the second path seems too scary to go down, that's okay. We can go down that first path. And although the method will be different, the effect will be similar. Take me, for example. I knew I had to confront my feelings and thoughts around money, and I was too scared to do it myself. So I became the community manager here at Bigger Sister Channel, because it forces me to educate myself irregardless of my fears. If you start educating yourself and improving your own financial literacy, you'll subconsciously build positive feelings around money, such as trust in yourself and confidence in your capabilities, which in turn will improve your financial attitude. It doesn't matter which path that you take, the path just informs us about the topics of focus when self-educating, but all the paths lead to the same place, and that is an improved financial mindset. I want you to feel like you can self-educate and that you have many options to do so. The thing about education is that it's not a one-size-fits-all method. It's your personal responsibility as an adult to figure out what sort of education you respond best to, how you most effectively learn, what is the most engaging way for you to digest information, how do you introduce new information and improve your current understanding? I can't answer these questions for you. You have to answer it yourself. Unfortunately, a lot of us didn't start life on a fair footing. So if you can't answer these questions straight away, don't feel ashamed. Use this as an opportunity to give yourself the learning that you should have received when you were younger. And if you want to take it a step further, comment on this video and share tips on how you learn and it could help others. Now, let's do a quick thought exercise together to help us discover how we best learn. Do you learn best alone or with others? Is that with one person or with a group of people? Do you learn from reading, watching, or listening? Do you retain information better by writing it down? Personally, I do. Talking about it or doing it? How do you then exercise the knowledge? Do you need guidance, a mentor, or do you like to make a mistake and gather feedback from your experience? Do you need someone with greater authority to guide your learning? Do you need feedback and assurances? Do you need breaks when learning, or do you just sit down and do it all in one big sitting? When you can answer these questions, you know how you can start self-educating. We want to use education as a tool to orient ourselves into a queen bee. None of the other bigger sister characters like Messy Jessie or Risky Misty have the wrong attitude per se, but they're limited in how they think and feel about money. When we embody Queen Bee's financial attitude, what we're really doing is expanding our way of thinking and feeling, and then applying it to the best perspective for the situations that we find ourselves in. Say, for example, you're a Messy Jessie. And then to orient yourself into a queen bee, what you need to do is identify the core causes for your anxiety. And in this case, it's probably a lack of education, exposure, and confidence around finance. Therefore, educating yourself is one way to overcome the limitations that Messy Jessies tend to experience. This is why I want you to answer self-reflective questions about how you best learn. Once you answer these questions about yourself, you're equipping yourself with the methodology to best introduce education into your daily life. Another way to answer these questions is to reverse engineer it. Use deduction. What hasn't worked for you in the past? What didn't you respond to previously? When you start to cross out the things that isn't working in your life, you can deduce it down to a handful of possible answers and then take it from there. I did this exercise for myself and I found that I identify somewhat with Risky Misty's financial attitude, as I mentioned earlier. You know, that optimistic spirit that believes everything will work out no matter what. But here's the thing, I didn't receive financial extensive formal training. And so in being a Risky Misty, it has its challenges. Sure, that positivity can be inspiring, but let's be real, it hasn't always led to the financial outcomes that I'd hoped for. I've realized that solely relying on optimism without a solid plan might not be my best approach. Sure, I've taken risks, invested in opportunities I believed in, but sometimes the enthusiasm led me to overlook really crucial details. Being Risky Misty might mean that I've missed out on opportunities that required a more cautious approach. So, what can I do to turn things around and really get a grip on my financial situation? Well, for starters, I've recently learned that my way of thinking isn't fixed, and I've accepted that it'll be uncomfortable and probably feel unnatural to improve. But I've decided to make some practical changes. First off, I'm taking the time to learn. I'm researching things more thoroughly and actually writing down my findings. This helps me remember and visualize where I'm putting my money. I like reading and watching videos because I can do it in my own time. But what really works best for me is when I write things down and when I do them physically. When I write down a financial goal or a budget, it feels more real and more achievable. I tried a new financial savings app recently and I've managed to save a little bit of money that I might not have otherwise saved. The bottom line is that we need to regularly educate ourselves because with a little planning and a touch of realism, the team at Bigger Sister Channel believe that we can all improve our financial futures. Once you've answered these questions about how education has impacted your financial attitude, how you best learn, and share these answers in the comments, you can help others like you learn vicariously. I want you to make a commitment to yourself to continue improving your financial mindset through education. This could be following a financial educator online, following a financial podcast, reading a book about financial mindsets, subscribing to a blog or a newsletter, introducing your financial mindset to your self-care routine if you journal, or if you have any other rituals, getting a mentor, setting up monthly catch-ups with your friends where you talk about your feelings, your thoughts, and your behaviors around finance, or simply continue with the Bigger Sister Channel Economic Empowerment Program. I want you to start demystifying the idea of finance and unpacking your behaviors, thoughts, and feelings through self-education. I want you to start demystifying the idea of finance and unpacking your behaviors, thoughts, and feelings through self-education. You can keep yourself accountable to this commitment by commenting on this video and sharing how you will self-educate. I do have one further suggestion if you want to begin improving your financial attitude through education. Services Australia, or Centrelink, has a financial information services program. Estelle recently used this service to see if it was something that I could recommend to sex workers, and it just so happens that it is. There'll be a separate video reviewing the service, and a few of the Bigger Sister channel team members are also going to use this service to compare our experiences so that we can provide you with a more comprehensive review. The Financial Information Services Program is free, independent, and confidential education program, and it uses information to help people make informed decisions about their current and future financial needs. The service is available to everyone. You don't need to give any identifying information about yourself, and it's a fairly neutral space for you to begin to unpack what's happening in your financial life and get some guidance on how you can improve. You can make an appointment face-to-face or on the phone, and check the notes in this episode to see how. If you found this information valuable and you want to continue to learn about the factors that shape our financial attitudes, don't forget you can subscribe to our channel. Hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so that you never miss an episode. Share your learning in the comments section to teach others. Together, we can build a financially empowered community. I just want to thank you for being part of today's discussion on the power of education in shaping our financial attitudes. In the next video, we'll explore another key influencing factor of financial attitudes. Until then, remember, education is the key to unlocking your financial potential. Stay curious, stay informed, and let's take control of our financial future. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. As always, thank you for being a part of the Bigger Sister community.